Yeah, we've been out there. I've probably been out there like twice.
And
So
what's got you in Texas from Southern Cal?
I came out here to save money because I started my tech job in November and I just went crazy with my nieces and nephews. And I was like, if I stay around them, I'm gonna just keep spending money on my nieces and nephews. So I was like, let me come out here to Texas and like save up so when I get back home, I can like, you know, get a condo or something like that. And this conference was, I wanted to go to this conference, so it all worked out. Yeah.
Well, luckily, Janae, you're going to talk about how the people can make some more money in tech sales.
Right,
I
exactly.
I was looking at your background, and it's an interesting tagline: former Best Buy, former customer service, a couple different jobs here and there, got into course careers, and now you've been working in tech sales for nearly 5 months now. So why don't you take us back
Yeah.
maybe 6, 8 months ago when you were in that range where you're like, okay, what am I doing? How do I find a more stable career path going forward?
So that's the thing. So Best Buy was a little further back. I actually got my master's degree in marriage and family therapy or clinical psychology. And so that's what I was doing before. And then my family started a food truck business. And so I helped my dad,
Wow.
my mom, like kind of get that off the ground. It was a family business. And then here comes the pandemic, like good old COVID, right? So once that happened, it was a struggle. It was hard. And so I had to figure out and decide, am I going to go back into therapy to be a therapist, or am I going to do something different? And personally, like you said, about 6 to 8 months ago, just last summer, I was in a place of not wanting to go back into therapy, not because I didn't like it, because I loved meeting with my clients. It was just more so I didn't like the documentation. And then I felt like it was very chill and laid back. And I'm a very competitive person. Like I have an athletic background. I've been playing softball since I was 5. I played college ball, and I'm just very competitive. And I felt like being a therapist was meeting my needs as far as like wanting to love people. But I was like, there's a huge part of me that's missing. Like I miss sports. I miss being competitive, that drive, you know, that go-getter mentality. And you don't have that as a therapist. It's not really required. So yeah, that's kind of the space that I was in, trying to figure out what my next move was going to be. And I decided, I actually came across, well, not came across Cyrus. Me and Cyrus actually go back. We were both spoken word artists back in like the church and ministry spaces. So we knew each other prior to him being in tech sales. And then I came across the fact that he was just in tech. And that's how I even heard about the tech industry in the first place. And from there, it was just, I did my research and got involved. So,
That's really unique because your background, having a master's degree, that basically sets you up and quote unquote qualifies you to do a lot of different things. But with no
yeah,
traditional sales background, feeling like, hey, this career path, stable, being a counselor, making a great impact, speaking with folks, but maybe too much admin work. I'm not able to scratch that itch of wanting to compete and just
yeah,
strive for more, maybe, and maybe get paid based on producing. And that's what sales is all about. And it's unique also, on the other hand, having that food truck, which it sounds like may have had challenges with COVID, or maybe it was accelerated based on being able to move around and be outside. But I'm sure you're like, hey,
yeah.
I don't want to do that either. So what did you feel like you were missing in order to get into tech? Because clearly you're an impressive individual, you're qualified, you've done a lot to improve yourself. Once you realize, okay, tech is what I want, what do you feel like was the gap to then get into tech? Because I think that's a challenge a lot of people have is I don't have a traditional sales background, I don't have any sales
Right.
experience, no quote unquote credentials. So you've done some customer service stuff, so that sort of translates. But what do you think was the
Yeah.
gap for you to get into tech sales?
It was a few things, to be honest. I was looking for a stable career. Like coming from being a marriage and family therapist, it was like, if I'm not going to do that, I'm not just going to go work at Best Buy. Like I'm not, like I'm
And
not going
people
to do
need
that.
Xboxes and PlayStations now.
Hey, and I was good at selling those too.
I believe
Um,
it. I don't want to catch you on the back end of the TV section because I'm walking out of there with a 65-inch TV that I don't need.
yes, and I probably would have had you with two of them. I'm kidding.
Oh,
But no, like it was a very rough spot because I was like, I was like, I'm going to be 30 soon. This was last year. I was going to be turning 30 in November, and I was like, I need something stable. I need something that I'm going to do for the rest of my life, which is what I thought being a marriage and family therapist was. And when I made that transition, I was like, what can I possibly do that I'm good at that's gonna pay me what I need as far as my bills and just, like as a 30-year-old woman, I was like, I need to make a change. Like I was just fed up. I was at a place that I was like, I just need to make a decision and figure something out. And I just felt like God just dropped the tech industry in my lap because I had never heard of it in my life. And so um, once I started to do, well, course careers, I know we'll probably get into that, but once I started like learning what this was, I was like, you know what? I'm actually really good at this. Like, I'm actually really good at sales. And honestly, not even because of my experience in customer service, really. I would honestly give it credit more to some skills I learned as a therapist, because for one, you have to sell interventions in a sense. Like, I knew that I was good at listening to people as a therapist, asking questions to investigate in order to find pain points and then providing them with a solution. Like, I seen the parallels and I was like, I'm a great listener, you know. And then also I do apologetics, and I know a lot of people aren't familiar with what that is, but that's basically, if I had to sum it up, it's like you're constantly handling objections. Like, it's just, that's a whole story in itself. People could maybe see that on my Instagram or something, but that's basically what I do all the time. I'm handling objections all the time. That's what I do as a hobby, you know. Yeah, so with a lot of different topics, from science to creation to the origin of the universe to all these different things. So anyways, I'm always talking about those things, and I saw I have a gift in this, in validating people and what they think and asking the right questions to see what it is that they need, what would be a good fit for them. And so I saw so many parallels, and I was like, I can do this. Once I learned the actual position and the material, the vocabulary, I was like, this is going to be doable. So,
That's a common theme amongst all the successful students that we like to talk to is they reached a point in their life where they just feel like, you know what, I need a change, I need a new opportunity vehicle, and then they see
yeah,
someone else and they think, oh, I can do that too. And as soon as you reach
right.
that realization, I can do that too, then it's okay, let's start taking action. Also, you don't hear objections are my fun fact every day. So
I
I
know.
like that about you. That's unique. That's unique. So you learned about tech sales from Cyrus. You wanted to be more rewarded for your contributions. You like talking to people, overcoming objections. And of course, you came across course careers, where we help students break into
Yeah.
tech with no traditional degrees, in some cases, no experience, no connections, no job. So how did you get exposed to course careers, and what impact did that make on teaching you the terminology, the
Mm.
buzzwords, and just what you would be doing, to your point, because you felt like that was what was missing for you to then land a tech job?
Yeah, so I heard about it through Cyrus. Never heard of course careers in my life until, Cyrus was posting about it. And he posted about maybe two or three different boot camps, tech boot camps. But course careers was the cheapest one. So of course that was like the first thing that I looked into. And yeah, and it was just within my budget at the time. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not taking no for an answer as far as like failing. Failing's not an option. I'm going to just go for it. I don't care what this course is talking about. I'm going to learn it and I'm going to succeed because I needed a path. I needed to get something started. And so, yeah, I heard about it from Cyrus, did a little bit of research, did the free introductory course, um, saw some, testimonials, and I literally paid the money and started like within the same day. That all happened in one day. And so, yeah, I got started, and the material was beyond helpful because I'm coming from a clinical psychology mentality and background where you're actually being empathetic and really extra patient and listening. And then I'm hearing like, a different kind of approach to like just your job. And so I was just like, this is different, but I like it. Like I love, just the entire culture of sales and just tech sales. So, anyways, as far as the material, I think the course laid everything out perfectly for me to understand and to be able to comprehend on a fundamental level, to even have a grasp of what this was. Like I learned the vocabulary, everything was clear. It made sense. I think it was very clear. I think the course was very well done. Um, like the fact that it can teach me and prepare me to feel confident without me having any knowledge of tech sales, like I think that speaks a lot to the layout of the course. So,
And that's
yeah,
a powerful place you were at is I'm going to do whatever it takes to be successful. You decided to put down the money, invest in yourself, and do whatever it was going to take to reach the outcome you want, which was landing the job eventually. You got in the
right.
material, you found it to be useful, you listened to some testimonials. For anyone out there listening right now, we do have the free introductory course linked below that you can go check out just to learn, hey, what is tech sales? Why? How would I actually get in? Would it be the right fit for me? When you got into the material, you had mentioned that it helped you understand the landscape of just some of what
Yeah.
you would be doing. What do you think are maybe just one to two major takeaways as you look back and then now
Mm,
compare it to being in the real world, actually applying some of these
right.
lessons to make money? And we're going to talk about how you got hired, got the job. But what would you say you learned that has actually translated to you applying it in your actual job working in tech sales?